Problems with Jamie Caven the other day. If you keep playing this well, you can join the men's.
I'm beating players that I've watched growing up, and it's just amazing. And yeah, I just feel really proud of myself to be able to win one of these. I never ever thought I don't know mind trying to.
3. The WDF World Championships, an 86-match winning streak, the first 9-darter ever thrown by a woman on the PDC Pro Tour, and yet for 2 full years the most dominant woman in modern darts refused to walk out at Alexandra Palace, the biggest stage her sport has to offer. The reason she stayed away, the words she used when she finally explained it, and what she did the night she came back, change everything you thought you knew about Beau Greaves. Target Darts had already chosen the slogan by May 2025 when they unveiled her signing, and the line they ran with was "Welcome to the Beau Show." The version of Greaves people now watch at Alexandra Palace started a long way from any TV stage. Her first competitive darts went into a board in a Doncaster pub when she was 10 years old, and she put it plainly to GB News in 2022, telling them, "I started playing in pubs when I was about 10. 6 years before that interview, BBC Sport had already noticed what was happening in South Yorkshire, and on 24th September 2016, they published a profile that tipped a 12-year-old Beau Greaves to become darts' first female millionaire. The forecast looked extreme at the time, it now looks conservative. Her route through the junior and amateur ranks ran through Doncaster's Bowlby Bridge Social Club, the same venue featured in the 2024 Darts Now documentary, Dartitis, Can't Let Go. Greaves appeared in that film alongside Dr. Linda Duffy, speaking openly about the throwing block known as dartitis, and that level of honesty about the mental side is something almost no elite player offers on camera. The documentary landed in the same year she was rewriting the women's record books. This is the part of her career with no parallel anywhere else in women's darts. The breakthrough year was 2022, when Greaves claimed her first WDF World Championship at Lakeside, lifted the WDF World Masters, and took the WDF Europe Cup singles, beating Spain's Almudena Fajardo in both finals. Betfred launched the Women's World Match Play that same year, and Greaves walked away as its inaugural champion. 12 months later, she retained the WDF World title, added the Women's World Cup singles in Esbjerg, Denmark by defeating England's Data Hedman, and lifted the Women's World Match Play for a second time. By the close of 2024, she had done it for a 3rd straight year. Her Lakeside final, contested at Lakeside Country Club in Frimley Green between 29th November and 8th December 2024, finished 4-1 against Sophie McKinley, and she closed the match on a bullseye. Her route to that title ran through Kirsi Viinakainen, who had attempted a 9-darter in the first round, then Jitka Sizarova in the quarter-final, and Data Hedman in the semi. July 21st of 2024 saw her take the Women's World Match Play for a 3rd consecutive year, this time beating Fallon Sherrock in the final. 3 months later, she returned to the World Masters and beat Rhian O'Sullivan to win it again. The Women's Series numbers are where the dominance becomes difficult to process. PDC official footage published on October 20th, 2025 confirmed that Greaves had by that point won 86 consecutive matches on the Women's Series. By February 2026, PDC Europe was confirming she had taken 17 Women's Series titles in a row. The Women's Series itself has grown around her, and the contrast tells the story on its own. In 2020, the circuit ran 4 events with a total prize pool of £20,000. By 2026, the same circuit ran 24 events with a pool of roughly £360,000. Broadcasters and PDC Graphics had openly billed her as the Women's World #1 by 2025, including ahead of her UK Open match with the Men's World #1 Luke Humphreys. This is the context for the controversy that defined her from late 2023 onward. The PDC World Championship at Alexandra Palace runs from mid-December into early January, and the WDF World Championship at Lakeside runs from late November into early December. Those 2 windows overlap, and the historic governance split between the WDF and the PDC prevented players from entering both. Greaves, holding the Lakeside crown, had to choose. Her 2022 choice sent her to Ali Pali, where she walked out as the youngest woman ever to play at Alexandra Palace. For 2023 and for 2024, she went the other way, defending Lakeside both times and skipping the PDC stage entirely. The framing she used in interviews became one of the most quoted lines in modern women's darts. By late 2024, headlines were carrying the phrasing, Beau Greaves demands PDC scrap stupid rule ahead of World Darts Championship, referring to the qualification system that forced the choice in the first place. Other lines attributed to her in the same period included, "I prefer Lakeside, I want to defend my title. It has a world match play, but it's not enough, and I will never compete with Littler or Van Gerwen," delivered as a call for more PDC women's competitions rather than as any kind of concession. Fallon Sherrock made the opposite choice in every year Greaves stayed away. Sherrock played the PDC Worlds in 2023 and in 2024, losing in round 1 to Jermaine Watimena and then Ryan Meikle, and she returned in 2025 to face Dave Chisnell. The split between the two players became the central narrative tension in women's darts coverage for 2 seasons. Sherrock was chasing the bigger stage and the bigger check, while Greaves was protecting a Lakeside legacy and using the resulting platform to demand structural change. Luke Humphries weighed in publicly. The men's world #1 named Greaves as one of his favourite players in a Sky Sports interview from late 2024, and he predicted she would earn a PDC tour card in 2025. He was right. From January 2025 onward, Greaves became an active Pro Tour competitor, with her first confirmed Players' Championship match coming against Owen Bates at PC 1 2025. What happened next is the part that should change how you see her. Greaves did not arrive at the PDC Pro Tour to make up the numbers. The 2023 Grand Slam of Darts had already seen her beat the German player Ricardo Pikachu Pietreczko on a televised stage. By the 2025 Mr. Vegas Grand Slam, she was sharing a group with Michael Van Gerwen and Gary Anderson, and she recovered from 3-0 down to beat Nico Springer. The 2025 Ladbrokes UK Open, played between 28 February and 2 March, saw her beat Switzerland's Stefan Belmont 6-1 with a 152 checkout, before walking out to face Luke Humphries on the same stage. Kevin Painter, a former PDC World Championship finalist, was beaten outright by Greaves on the Modus Super Series. The 2024 Dutch Open delivered another moment for the highlight reel when Greaves landed a 174 leg, 3 maximums in a single leg, the highest possible scoring leg before the finish. The single result that captures the shift came in October 2025 at the Windmill World Youth Championship in Minehead. Greaves reached the final, where she lost to Gian Van Veen. The man she beat in the semi-final was the reigning men's senior world #1, Luke Littler, by 6 legs to 5. The Guardian, Sky Sports, The Times and PDC.TV all covered the result. A Greaves win against Littler at any tournament would already be a story, but a Greaves win against Littler at the World Youth on the way to the final on the same weekend the world watched sat in a different category altogether. December 2025 brought her back to Alexandra Palace for the first time since her 2022 debut. Her round 1 opponent was Daryl Gurney, and the match turned into a thriller, with Gurney landing a 144 finish that the PDC titled, in their own words, "a shot that changed the game." 2 months on the 25th of February 2026 at Players' Championship 6, Greaves became the first woman in history to throw a 9-dart finish on the PDC Pro Tour. The PDC headline read, "History, first 9-darter by a woman on the Pro Tour." There is a separate strand running through this period that the documentary record cannot ignore. Across 2024 and 2025, the top end of the women's tour was dominated not just by Greaves, but by the Dutch player Noah Lynn van Leuven, who received DRA permission to compete in women's darts in 2021 and went on to win 4 Women's Series titles in 2024, then 2 more in 2025. One of those finals saw Van Leuven set the Women's Series averaging record at 109.64 in a 5-3 win over Greaves herself. The WDF banned trans women from women's events on 28 July 2025, and the DRA followed on 9 April 2026. Players including Data Hedman, Aileen de Graaf, Luke Humphries and Michael Van Gerwen all spoke publicly during the controversy. Greaves did not. Across every interview, every podcast and every walk-on, she has kept nothing on the record about it. The loudest voice usually wins the news cycle in this sport, which makes her silence its own kind of statement. This is where she stands as of April 2026. Greaves is grinding the Pro Tour week by week with confirmed appearances at Players' Championships 2, 6, 7, 9 and 10 in 2026, plus the European Darts Grand Prix against Johnny Clayton. The PDC Order of Merit Top 32 has not opened up to her yet, and entire podcast episodes are now built around whether she can break in. Gemma Hayter, one of the rising names on the women's tour, told Tungsten Tales in April 2026 that the rest of the field now treats Greaves as the target, the player every other woman in the draw is hunting. The reason this story changes how people see her is simpler than the controversy makes it sound. 3 WDF World Championships were not enough to make Beau Greaves accept the PDC system as it stood. She used the platform those titles gave her to refuse it. Alexandra Palace lost her on principle for 2 straight years, and she kept winning anyway. The walk back through the door came on her own terms. She beat the men's world #1 in a separate competition the same autumn, and a few weeks after that, she did something no woman in the history of the PDC Pro Tour had ever done. The question ahead of her now is not whether she can compete at the top end of the men's draw. PC6, the Littler win, and the UK Open run already settled that. The question ahead is whether the structure of the sport catches up with the player. 5 years of work have gone into building a single argument that the women's ceiling in this sport has been set far too low. Whether the PDC Order of Merit, top 32, opens up to Beau Greaves over the next 12 months will write the next chapter. The chapter already on the page says she never waited to be asked.